Did you know that some of my most vibrant and colorful paintings actually start on a black background? Today's demonstration is going to show you exactly how to go from a black background to vibrant and beautiful color. All right, today we're going to be painting this gorgeous scene from Massachusetts. Start with a black canvas. It is one of the favorite colors that I like to paint on because it always provides some drama to your painting. Sometimes I let a little bit of that black show through, but I also want to paint a lot of beautiful color on top of this black because obviously we need color. The black is like a blank slate though. Every color is going to appear really beautiful on top of it. And one of the colors in this scene that I love is the red roof of this gorgeous building. I don't know if this is a gigantic house. I don't know if it's actually a hotel or something, but the roof is really one of the things that stands out to me in the contrast that it provides against the blue background. The blue water, the blue sky, and you have this gorgeous roof with a lot of vibrant color with a lot of sunlight hitting it. We're kind of looking like it's a golden hour type of scene. You know, the light is coming from behind us and to the right. And one of the things that you want to think about when you're painting is always establishing where does the light come from. Right now I'm coming into this building and I've got a nice warm white, but it's got a lot of yellow and a lot of orange in it. And the orange is just mixed between my red, which is naphthol red, and my cadmium yellow. So anytime you see me grab that, you know I only really have three main colors on there. I do have two blues on the palette right now. I have an ultramarine blue, which will be a more muted blue, and then I have a phthalo blue, which I'm going to use in some of the water later. But I've got this nice warm white that is showing where the light is hitting. And to mute it down and to get some of the shadow color on these parts of the house that are in the shadow, I've added a little bit of the blue and it's just kind of knocking it down. I'm doing the same thing on the roof line where I want it to show a little bit of more reflected light. And right now you look at it and you see the roof looks the same value pretty much in the shadow as it does in the sunlight. But don't worry, I'm going to come back with a brighter highlight for the roof in the sunlight later. But everything right now is establishing where the light is coming from. Even the grass down below, coming back with more of these pillars and different objects that are part of the house, part of that structure. And again, the shadow side of the walls as well. The whole goal of my painting life is really to show beautiful light. I think that anything can make a nice subject as well as long as there's good lighting on it. And when you have a beautiful structure like this place and you get beautiful light on it, it just makes it extra special. So you can see now I've mixed a little bit of white into the orangish red that I have going on. And you don't want to always mix pure white with a color because if you're trying to lighten a color but you want it to stay more saturated, sometimes a better way to do it is to mix to the next value or the next color that would be lighter in value. So red, you might want to mix some orange in to make it lighter, but also to keep that saturation really high. I'm putting in the background hill and some of these boats. Now, this is where I mix in that vibrant phthalo blue. And you can see how colorful that is. And that's a really important color, in my opinion, in this painting, just because there's so much warmth in the scene overall. Even some of the blues are, they're not as, they have a bit of warmth in them. I mix in a little bit more, you know, ultramarine for most of the water. And the sky has some of the ultramarine, but you can see up in the sky, if you look at the reference photo, you can see that the light, the way that the light is, it's shining on the clouds in the background, and it's also making the sky a little bit warmer. So that little bit of almost purely phthalo blue that's in that little sliver of water back there, I find important. Now you can see that I'm using negative shape painting to get this motor that's hanging off the back edge of this boat. And one thing you can remember is if you have a hard time getting your subject right, you can always work back and forth with foreground and then background. You can shape the foreground with a background color, like I did with that motor. And you'll see me do this again in the sky with the house. The roof line right now is kind of in there, and it's kind of generally okay, but it's not very clear. And so when I come back with the sky and with the clouds, you'll see that I'm able to refine some of those shapes because I didn't do a really careful job with it, and that's intentional. You kind of have to choose how many times are you going to try to be really careful in a painting. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll get the general idea of it, and then I'll do the final shaping with a background color, just because to me it's a little bit easier than trying to be perfect with the first line and then perfect with the second line as well. I would prefer to just work hard on the line one time and hopefully get it good. And again, if I mess this up at any point, I can come back with the roof color and I can do it again. So there's never any fear, you know, if you're painting and you're worried, just remember it's just paint and it's not the end of the world. Worst case scenario, just paint something over it, you know. It's really just meant to be a fun thing that we're doing, and we're growing in our creativity and we're enjoying the process. If we don't enjoy the process, honestly, why are we doing it, right? That's a thing. I really firmly believe that you want to enjoy this as much as possible, have fun, laugh at yourself, don't take yourself too seriously, and you will be able to grow and thrive because it is a fun process. You just have to embrace the mistakes. I make so many mistakes in a painting, even today, you know, but you just kind of roll with it and have fun. You can see that this boat is one of those things that has a few little details on it that I think are kind of important just to, you know, represent, you know, if you're a boat lover, I'm sure that you care a lot about boats and you would probably even know what kind of boat this is. I'm the kind of person that I generally go for it's good enough for me. My father-in-law had this funny saying that he used to say to me all the time, and I don't know why he said it to me, except that it's just funny because he was such a character. But he'd say, good enough for the girls I go with. And I always laugh at that, but that's kind of my attitude when I think about drawing and structures and stuff like that for myself in art is I'm not really concerned about getting every last detail in and all of that. Now you might be different than me, and if you are, that's great. You don't have to be the same as anybody else in the art world. You are your own unique self, and your kind of your style, which comes out because of your preferences, which comes out because of maybe your background and your personality. It's very unique to you. So never feel like you have to do something the way that somebody else does. I paint a certain way, but it's because of the way that I like to paint. You can be a little bit more detailed. If you wanted to use a template or something to get the drawing of this house on your scene exactly accurately, you know, that would be something that I think is a great tool for you. I'm beginning to like try to use templates and things like that in more of my teaching because I think that it's a helpful thing for a lot of people. So again, just find things that work for you. You can see that I used a palette knife to get some of the sails of the boats in the back, you know, the mast up there. Again, find things that work for you. I think it's a little bit easier than trying to use a small brush and get a straight line. Even though those aren't perfect, they're better than they would have been. And finally, if you're painting on black like I am, you can expect to have a couple coats to get the brighter colors as bright as you want. And you can see we're almost done with this painting. We're getting the final sky in, some of these bright blues in the foreground. And there you have it. I hope that you had as much fun as I did. This is Massachusetts, part of the Paint Across America series. If you love it, go to paintacrossamerica.com. You can always participate with that there. But there's the final painting, and I will catch you next time. Hey, here are some paintings by some people who have already taken this journey with me, and you can do the same. So go to paintacrossamerica.com today. It's 50 states, 50 weeks. It's an amazing time, and I will see you there.